Yay. So we're going to look at where I'm putting the recordings of the Monday, Wednesday sessions. And I'm in the wrong class, of course. This is the I3 class, right? Oh, we're back up here. Here we go. Okay. Come on, fingers crossed it's here. Okay, yes. So this is where I put it. And it is published. Yes. No. Oh. Yes, here we go. So 829 Zoom recording. When you click it, it's going to take you to a YouTube playlist. So there it is. there's me. Look at that, an hour and 58 minutes and 17 seconds. Whew. So that's where I'm going to dump all of the morning sessions. I will create another playlist that says evening Zoom videos. Maybe I should like even put the dots and eyes and things in there. And what we decided this morning that might be best is if I just put a module at the top that says recordings instead of like dumping a link each time in here. And then I think these links take you to Alana's class.
So Eric, do you have this in both sections?
Yes.
I just came from there. That's Alana's class.
I'm about to, okay. So I'm about to join Alana's class. This is going to be really interesting.
Wouldn't that be fun?
What's going on with StatCrunch? Where's that coming from? Oh, I clicked a button here. Okay, so yes, I need to get rid of all of those things. It looks like I only updated the I1 section with the correct link for the Zooms. So I don't know how you all got here, but you're miracle workers, and I'm glad you're here.
It's because you sent me your link and I sent it to them, and they trust me.
I was going to say, what have we all learned about the two instructors you have? Oh boy. Yeah. Other questions? Great question.
So Eric, I'm going to tell you I did something.
Okay.
I went through and I unpublished all your days for right now so that they weren't getting confused on all the stuff that might be changing. So,
oh yeah, nice, good.
I did that because, except for the first few that we've done, I went through and did that so that people weren't looking ahead and then trying to maybe work ahead and then we change something. Or that it says the assignments due on a Wednesday when we said that we were going to do Sunday due dates, and I didn't want them getting confused.
Thank you. Yes, good. On my list of things to do, that's next. In between tonight and tomorrow, that's going to happen. And then I'll publish it all again. Good. This is the Tutoring Hours link that I sent a little video last night about. If you click this from 8:30 to 11, which I should relabel that, Monday through Thursday, you can reach me virtually. If you would like to meet in person, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will be in my office with the Zoom link up. And if anyone shows up, we'll have a fun time figuring out who's talking to who. Okay. Where is that link that here we go. Was she like, who are you? Get out of here. That doesn't sound like Alana.
Scroll back up at day 2.
It was day 2. It's disappeared, so no one else can see it.
So yeah, right there where it says
This
Zoom
one.
class 2, that's where it goes to Alana's.
Gone. Yes, I want to delete that. Okay, cool. So I will get a link also just for this. I know Cindy emailed it to you, and I think I emailed it to you through Canvas at one point that gets you here. And I'll put it, maybe I could put them all together, like a heading of Zoom links, and then I don't know. You all tell me what makes most sense. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Any other like procedural things, questions, confusions? Should I introduce myself? I should at least say that I'm Eric, and you can address me as Eric, like in emails and in talking in class. If I'm going wild and crazy, just say, Eric, please stop. I need help with that. And I'm so comfortable doing that. I think I went on and on in the video about a bunch of crazy stuff. So you can maybe learn more about me there. Should we go through the 1-1 notes, or did you all do that? Yay, Kayla, I'm so glad you made it too. It is so nice that we can all be together as opposed to not having power or internet.
Eric, we did not do 1-1 notes, but I told them that they could either watch, we found out where Alana's notes were for 1-1. And I told them that you would be putting up 1-1 notes from the day class that they could listen to. We did, however, do 1.1 worksheet number 1 without them even doing the notes. We did it kind of talking quality, as we went through it, we talked. I told them obviously they would want to go back and fill in notes to make it make more sense, but we went through and filled in the worksheet last night. So they have the worksheet 1.1, worksheet 1 done. Yeah, some of them may have it from previous semester, but obviously some don't. So I just told them that would be a good idea to fill in those notes from your recording that you now have published.
So we can decide as a class. I'm super flexible. Do you want me to talk through the 1-1 notes? Do you want to watch that video and we move on to the next thing?
I watched the video,
okay.
And you didn't finish the last part. You ran out of time. So
this part, right? This part I always skip. We skip
that one. You skipped that one. So you started doing the one before about quantitative and qualitative, discrete and continuous.
Good.
But it didn't get all the way finished, but I mean, you gave us the gist of what has to be done. So
how about this? How about I do a broad strokes overview of the main things you should know, which I did today in the morning session, which you can also see from 1-1. Great question. This is page 29 in the course pack. Let me figure out how to turn on the whiteboard and make a new whiteboard. Yay, this is gonna be wild. Oh. That's so much better than what I was doing this morning. Okay, so there are three big concepts you need to take home from 1-1. And what I'm doing here is essentially telling you what you should write on your reference sheet. And if you don't know, do you all know what the reference sheet is?
No.
Oh, I'm so excited to get to share this. Thank you, Cindy. This is a good thing for me to share. When you take the midterm, you get to have 2 pages of handwritten double-sided notes of anything you want, or did we say 3? I can never remember.
I think you said 3.
How did you know? You watched the video, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I think the night class gets 3, but the day class you said 2.
Okay, fair. There's no day people in here, right?
Right.
So they won't know, but they'll be able to see this recording if they want. It doesn't matter to me. I will say the more pages you get, the less useful they are as a tool while taking the exam. So yeah. Anyways, so you get this reference sheet. Cindy and I together will take team telling you what things to put on it and how to organize it. And Kayla's got a precious one from last time. I will say borrowing someone else's and copying it exactly defeats the purpose of them. Because really, when I tell you to write a reference sheet, I'm tricking you into studying. Because what you're doing is summarizing all the stuff you were asked to learn and picking out the big points. And most students will say they didn't use anything on the reference sheet when they took the exam, and all the things they forgot to put on there are the parts that they missed on the exam. That's my experience. So, anything anyone wants to say before I continue to talk?
No.
Okay.
So I'm a little confused. So just page so just page 29 is what we need for the notes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was definitely confusing. No. So for the 1-1, what you'll want is to go through page 25 through 29.
Sorry, somebody asked what page we were on for doing that qualitative, quantitative. So I answered that question when that screen was up, that where it has L and D. Somebody asked what page we were on.
Yeah. So the 1-1 section, and it's a pretty important section because we lay the groundwork for all the work we do. And I'm going to kind of summarize it right now. And one of the big things that you want to know is the distinction between a population and a sample. Because this is the whole of statistics of what we do in this class, is we take a sample from our population, do some calculations with it to make a statement about the population. That's it. If we were to condense statistics down, that's what we're doing. Yeah, welcome you all. That's totally my fault that you're on the wrong Zoom. That link is gone now. So welcome, glad you're here. So let's see, what was I saying? So here's an example. We want to know who's going to win the next election. We want to know it before it happens because we don't like surprises. So we go out and talk to a sample of likely voters and say, who are you going to vote for? And from that sample, we infer who's going to be elected, because we're going to assume that the way the sample votes, the percentage breakdown, is the way the population is going to vote. Tons of other examples we could talk about. So the key words we talk about here is population means all, and sample means some. That's like the super fast shorthand. And when we determine this, what determines the population is based on what question are we answering. So what is the question? So if I wanted to know who's going to win the next presidential election in 2024, my population is all Americans that will vote. If I want to know who's going to win the governorship, or however you say, who's going to be the next governor of Michigan in 2022, my population is only Michigan voters. Because anyone who doesn't live in Michigan can't vote for that governor, I think, right? So population shifts based on what question you're trying to answer. And then the sample is based entirely on the population, and you want your sample to be representative of the population. So it needs to be randomly drawn. Okay, how do y'all feel about that? The distinction between population and sample. Okay, let's test you. Go to page. So you all did this one, and you're turning that one into Cindy. Go to page 458. This is the first worksheet you're going to turn into me. And we'll just stay in a large group for right now and answer question A and B. I'm going to time myself so I don't take too long. Set a timer for 3 minutes. 3 minutes, please. Thank you. You all can't see, you couldn't see what I was showing, could you?
No.
This is where I wanted you to go. Answer these two questions. I just have to say it's so cool that you all have your cameras on because it feels like I'm talking to real people. No offense to the morning class. No one likes to turn on their cameras. And by the way, please don't feel pressured to turn on your cameras. I get why people don't turn on their cameras. I mean, look at this.
I was eating dinner, so I turned mine off. I know you don't want to see me eating dinner, so.
That's cool too. It's fun. Like, isn't that sociology where you're like studying how people do things? Sorry, that was distracting.
Kayla, you don't need to write anything for the section number. It would be either like I1 or I3 like you're putting on for us, but you're going to be turning it in through your Canvas, so it won't matter. You don't really need to put in a section number.
You don't even have to put your name on it.
You don't.
You just have to turn it into a PDF. Okay, 17 seconds. I can't stand it any longer. Turn off the timer. What do you all say is the population?
All students at JC?
All students at JC.
Why isn't it all? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Why isn't it all U.S. college? I said stop the time. Why isn't it all U.S. college students?
Because it's Jackson College that was interested in doing the thing.
Survey.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah. Like, does Jackson College care if University of Michigan is eliminating spring break? No, right? Good,
No.
Good. You all nailed it. Did you note that it did not tell you the population is all Jackson College students, right? You had to infer it from the information they gave you. Nice job. What did y'all say was the sample?
The students
that were surveyed.
Good. Now, I don't like this multiple choice way of doing it. When I write the exam, which I don't know if I'm going to write the exam, but I would leave this as describe the sample for the study and not give you any options. And the best answer is 125 JC students. There's a reason it's vague, right? Because we ask what's the sample size. Good. Okay, let's go back to our whiteboard. Unless there's questions, please jump in with questions anytime you have them. Okay, so now you've got this idea of the distinction between a population and a sample. We like the study of statistics. This is what you do in statistics. So then you collect a sample and you get a bunch of information from it. And when we do calculations with that information, we call any of those calculations or any of the things that came from the sample parameters. It's been a long time since I had my 4 cups of coffee, but I promise I will be as caffeinated as I can be so that everyone has the same experience. I won't drink any coffee at this hour because then I won't sleep. Okay, so if we collect the information from the population, we call that information parameters. Now, when I say collect information, what I really mean is we organize the information we have, or we calculate, say, an average or a mode or whatever. If that work, that calculation we did came from the population, we call that thing a parameter. If that work and all that stuff came from, the calculations were done from sample data, we call that a statistic. Turns out it's fairly important to distinguish between the two, because in most problems at the end of the semester, you're going to be handed these things. You're going to have a guess about this thing, and you're going to test whether the information you have here it matches what we think about the parameter. Or we're going to use the statistic to make an inference about the parameter. So most often, this is unknown. We don't know it. The problem rarely gives it to you. In fact, if we knew it, why would we bother doing any work? Like if we knew who was going to win the election, why would we go ask anyone who you're going to vote for? Because we know who's going to win. We don't know. That's an example. And I tend to say political things, like I use politics as examples, but I try not to say political things. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. We all want to like each other a little bit, so we'll try not to. We'll talk about like, no, politics is just bad. Okay, so this is known. Part of the reason it's known is because like we grab the sample, like we go out and collect it, and then we do all the calculations from that, so we know it, and then we use that to make the parameter. I'm saying the same thing over and over.
You guys, was my description of Eric correct? Thumbs up.
I'll have to go watch that video and see. And you know, yeah, okay.
I said he's got like 4 cups of coffee in him all the time.
It's my teaching persona, because I feel like, you know, math is so exciting as it is. So if you're not exciting as a person, and then you can't match the excitement of the content, right? You got to match it up.
Eric, I've missed this so much.
It's been a long time, hasn't it?
It is.
Can y'all share some of that excitement? I need some.
All right.
Yeah, you just gotta love it.
I know. I just read all of their like introductions, and I don't know how many people said, "I hate math. I hate math."
Yes.
Someone did that to you, y'all. That's the thing I told people at the beginning. If you think, probably the reason you hate math is you think you're bad at it. And the reason you think you're bad at it is because some teacher somewhere told you were stupid, either directly, explicitly, or indirectly by how they reacted to your answer to a problem. So don't believe that. Because you know how like we like to tell ourselves that we know what we know. And so you learned at one point that you were bad at math. And then the next time you struggled with it, you're like, I knew I was bad, see? And then the next time, and then you're like, I'm not even gonna try because I know I'm not gonna get it.
I told them by the end, they're all gonna love math.
Yes, or at least like you'll chew it for a few minutes before you spit it out. Just a little bit.
I just need a pass, that's all.
I just need a pass.
Yeah, I need a pass this time around. Because last semester I got a not yet, okay?
I support that 100%. I had a master's degree that I just passed so I could get a pay raise. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, so so please, yes, that is actually important to me, that you realize that you're not bad at math. It's more the psychology that makes you bad at math. You're good at math. Oh, I told this to some class somewhere. They did a study with babies, where like 6-month-old babies or something, when you can see a little bit of a distance, they put like blocks behind a curtain. And the curtain was open and there's like 5 blocks, and they had the baby looking at it for a set amount of time. They closed the curtains and they either took blocks away or added some and then opened it up. And the baby was like looking, trying to figure out, wait, why is it different? And then the conclusion from that, the inference is you are born with an innate ability to do mathematics.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like you're born with it. Just like
your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, right? I mean, this is the language of heaven. Come on. You're born with it, just like you're born to, learn a language to speak. It's probably a little different. But look, you can do this. And if you believe you can do it, you will do it. But if you believe you can't do it, you won't do it, because we will fulfill all the prophecies we predict. There's a mathematician, his name was Cardano. He's the one that's responsible for the solution to this problem. And he's like the first that found, that this is a thing. He predicted his death to the day. and he took his life on that day, right? Come on. I mean, it's sad. He was back in like the 16th century. Not that that makes it any better, but you know, I don't know. Okay, we digress. So where what's the next thing we're learning here? Everyone, can you help me?
You went through that parameter and statistics.
There we go. Okay, right. So let's just glance at this, because I think this is a little bit helpful to know what's happening here. So share our screen, and not that. This.
Can you tell me again, what is a parameter, just in your words again, what is?
Yes. So a parameter is something calculated from the data that is a population.
Okay.
So say we wanted to know the average income of a resident of Jackson, Michigan. If we got every single person's income, added them all together, divided by how many, that number we calculated would be called a parameter, because it was calculated from a population.
Okay. So
but if we only took
from a population.
That's it. So then a sample is a small subset of the population. So if we calculate it from a sample, it's a statistic.
Okay.
It's impossible to tell the difference without knowing the information about the data set. You have to know the data set is either a population or a sample to know if it's a parameter or a statistic. Because if I said that the average income is $11,200, is that a parameter or a statistic? Without context, you have no clue.
Right.
Okay, so I like this little thing here, because this is what statistics, how it's done. We design a study, and what that means is, like, identify goals. We ask a question. It's kind of like the scientific process. So the question determines the population. If we could gather the data from the population, this would be done, and we'd know the answer. For example, if I wanted to know the average height of a US president, I would go look up the data for the heights of all of the US presidents, add them together, I'd have the answer. Done. But if I want to know the average height of a male living in America, good luck, right? You know, there's those dudes in the woods with their beards that no one knows exists, right? So we can't measure everyone's height. So we get a representative sample of Americans. We get some NBA players, we get some soccer players, we get some people like me, and you get their heights, and then you say, okay, the average height of this group of people is such and thus. I think, isn't the average height like 5'10" or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
How they got that number is they went out, collected a sample of men, measured their heights, calculated the mean, and that's their sample statistic. And then they did some tests that we're going to do at the end to make an inference and claim, oh, the average height of a male is 5'9". That's our conclusion about the population. We've answered the question. I should talk slower. Okay, so back to the whiteboard. Where are you? Oh, here you are. So then we get to this really important concept called a variable. I'm not embarrassed at all that I'm fumbling through this. Okay, not embarrassed at all. A variable. Now, this is a little tricky, but what it is it's a piece of information that you collect from the individuals in your sample. And we didn't say this before, but individuals is any one thing from the population. So if we're talking about the average height of a male in America, our data set is going to be like guy 1. Okay, so we asked this first person. And then the things we're going to collect from him is height, maybe race, maybe. We might be interested in income. The car this person drives, I'm trying to stay safe here. Weight. And how much he can bench, like his max bench. Each one of these.
Say age.
Oh, that's a great one. Oh, that's a really good, safe one that they would actually collect. Yeah, 100%. Thank you. So each one of those things is a variable, each one. And each one that's a piece of information that we'd have for all of these guys in our sample. 20. So there are different types of variables that determine how we're going to do our testing with those variables. So the first type is qualitative. And a qualitative variable is, the book tells you, their notes say it's an attribute. You're simply naming the thing. So for the guys, qualitative variables there would be their name. Oh yes, bless you, yes. Their race. What else did we say?
Age.
So
weight.
That's good. That's one of the variables, but is that qualitative? Is an age just a name? And really what we want to say here is it's a name and we can't do math. Let's not say math. We can't calculate something. Calculate.
Where are you at? Because I can't, are you writing on something else?
Can you all not see the whiteboard?
Yeah, you need to scroll it down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Scroll it down. How's that?
No.
How's that? Do I need to share my screen? No. Do I need to stop sharing? Oh, it's page 2. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to use this thing. Let's see. So when I open this, what do you see? The 1, 1 and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a way to change pages? Because I clicked a second page on my thing, but
I can see it just fine. It says qualitative name and we can't calculate.
No.
There you go. So on the left side of the toolbar, can you all see that? How is it some of you can see it and some? So my view, by the way, is standard. So all your faces are at the top. And then I got this nice wide whiteboard. I don't know if that makes a difference.
I could see it before, now I can't.
Okay, I got a quick fix. The chat blocks it. That makes sense. We're going to share screen and I'm going to do one of these numbers. Open a Word document. This is probably smarter anyways than that crazy whiteboard. This might be easier to save and upload if this were of interest. How do y'all like what you're seeing here? Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Page width. Okay, so is this going to work? Yes, I think this even works better than that. Okay, here we go. Look at that cool handwriting. So qualitative, which we said is a name. It's one of the main things it does. It can also rank, but we'll ignore that. And we can't do calculations that make any sense. So going back to the age suggestion of it being qualitative, can we do a calculation with age?
Well, it depends on what the question is.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about how old I am. I'm 39 years old. My daughter is 8. If I wanted to calculate my oldest daughter, Oh, and my next daughter is 5. So if I wanted to calculate the average age of these 3 people in my family, I would do this.
Right.
Is this a meaningful calculation?
Yes.
Yes.
Does that make sense, y'all? Yeah, it is. I should have said yes. I
Yes.
should have agreed. We are 17.333 years old. That's the average age per person in that 3-person set of my family.
Mhm.
So that means we need a new name because we like naming things in the stats world and the math world. So we call this kind of thing quantitative. Quantitative variable. I should be putting the word variable so it's clear that that's an adjective describing that noun. And these are, we can do calculations. So they're always numbers and we can calculate things. And chapter 3 is all about the stuff we can calculate. So if it's a qualitative thing, it doesn't mean it's not useful. It just means the kinds of tests we're going to do will be different than if it's a quantitative. We're not going to get an average yes or no. We might get a proportion of yeses to nos. That's what we would do with the who you're going to vote for in the next election kind of thing. Or what's your race? We might group people in the races and calculate the percent of the group that is a particular race. Okay, that's 1-1. Oh, nope, it's not. One last thing. This also determines the types of tests you do. There are 2 types of numbers that a quantitative variable can be. It can be discrete or continuous. A super mathy, like algebra definition is these are countable numbers. A not mathy definition is they're nice numbers that you like. So no fractions, typically no decimals. Ooh, type of car, love it, Mac. I don't know if I have any other examples on that. Whereas continuous means it's not countable. So there's infinite amount of numbers. So for example, discrete, the variable could take on maybe these numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ... up to 10, whatever that is. The number of eggs that are broken in an egg carton, right? 0 eggs are broken, 1, 2, all the way up to 10. Whereas continuous could be any number between 0 and 10. So like the diameter of the egg. I don't know that anyone would care to do that, but you could measure it. And you could measure to centimeters and you could get 2.365 centimeters is the diameter.
So Eric, write down that word you keep saying, measure.
Oh, yes. Yes, yeah, you measure it. You use a tool to measure it. That's a huge clue that you're looking at a continuous variable. And I guess if we were to put a word on discrete, I kind of did it. It's something you could count. Shoe size is counting, I guess.
Yeah, you guys, that's so he's saying usually discrete is like whole numbers. Continuous is like longer fractions in or longer decimals and fractions. But the one exception they always try to trick us on is shoe sizes because those are decimals. But think about it. If we have a shoe size of 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, we don't have anything between a 5 and a 5.5. We don't have a 5.0372 whatever shoe size. It's discrete. It's 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5. That's discrete, even though they are fractions.
So for continuous, would pi be in that?
100%. Pi is in a continuous variable. In fact, it's in one of the, it's in the formula or it's in the equation for the normal curve. I won't show it to you. I want to. but it's because it's so cool.
Stop
Yeah,
showing
good
off,
question.
Mac.
Yep. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, stop showing off, Mac.
Oh, I thought you were saying I was showing off. Oh,
No.
yeah. Oh, that's cool, Mac. Show off. Come on. This is how you love math, you know?
Yes.
You got to get excited. Okay, so that is 1-1. If you were to go back through the notes and fill everything in, that's what you would get, is essentially that stuff. There's a few other little tidbits. I think this might be a helpful way to look at the distinction between population and sample and parameter and statistic. That's on page 27. Not a bad thing to look at. How about we try the group thing, where I toss you into breakout rooms. Oh, I didn't.
Eric, I know how to do it.
You do? Oh, tell me.
All right, so go down to in the bottom where it says participants, click on that, find my name. So hover where it says participants, highlight my name and go over to where it says other or more.
Oh, I found it. Other or more. Where is that? Is it the 3 dots?
Shoot.
Oh, no, it's because I didn't. Hey, do you think you all wouldn't mind if we close this and I clicked a button in my Zoom account that allows a co-host and then we all came back?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can do it.
Okay. Oh, but then there's 2. It's worth it because we need Cindy to be able to jump around because there's so many of you all. Okay.